good. Oh, there's something in my arms. I get those Roy vibes for myself, but I definitely get them from other people. Yeah.
I love Gilmore Girls.
And I'll be making some more videos about like specific topics that I have here. So if you want to see that, go like and subscribe. Hello everyone, I am Hannah and I am a sophomore at Yale University. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I make videos about college, about life, faith, travel, vloggy things, yeah. And in this video, it's going to be a college question and answer session kind of thing. So I had a lot of questions about Yale specifically, and then like in the Ivy League, and then my experience at Yale. Yeah, and I feel like I'm gonna get through them pretty fast, but if you have any more questions, you can leave them down in the comments, and please, please, please like and subscribe. So I'm gonna start with like the general questions about Yale and the Ivy League. So a big question I get is, how hard are the classes actually? And were they harder than I expected? I would say they were harder than I expected. I was like moderately prepared from the high school that I came from, so it was kind of a hard transition, but it definitely wasn't, none of the classes were like impossible, and like if they are, like you could just drop them and take a new class during shopping week. But yeah, I found the classes to be hard, but not, yeah, so I know the professors and the other students really got me through the classes, so it just made it better even if they were hard. So yeah. And then going off of that, did I like feel stressed like extremely during school year? And I'd say I felt pretty stressed out, especially first semester transitioning into college. But I'd say that the friends that I've made, yeah, they've really like helped me get through everything, and just, you know, through prayer and like quiet time with God has helped me get through everything. But yeah, I definitely was pretty stressed, but it's all part of like the transition, I think. And then advice for high school students to stop stressing about college apps. I'd basically just say, you know, schedule time to yourself every so often to just relax, and make sure that you have like a good support system if possible, at home or in your school. And if you don't have that, use YouTube. You know, YouTube is definitely a good resource, I think. I could talk a lot about that, but I feel like stress is always inevitably gonna come up, so like sometimes you just have to deal with it. Sometimes you can't just stop stressing, but you have to, you know, just look at why you're stressing and say, how can I make things better? What can I do to be more efficient? When should I take a break? Like, you have to know those things about yourself, and knowing those things coming into college will be really helpful too. So next question, kind of going with that, is how do you or I develop a work-life balance? I'd say that's something I struggled with a lot, transitioning into college, because it was kind of easier in high school because you have like, what is it, like 7 a.m. to like 2 p.m. you're in school, and then afterwards is clubs, homework, you know, sports, like whatever. College is different because like you might have a class like in the morning and then like one in the afternoon and maybe like a seminar in the evening. It's like all throughout the day, and it's not just like a specific time throughout the day. If you don't, like, maybe sometimes you could schedule your classes like that, but other times you're not going to be able to. So I definitely say invest in a good planner, or just make a bullet journal, anything that you want to do, and just schedule out how you're going to do everything, when you're going to do everything, scheduling is definitely a big help for me, and maybe I can go into like how I do that more at another time. And I don't know. I think that's like the main thing. Just like try not to overload yourself too. Like there's gonna be so many good clubs and like everything in college, and you're gonna want to do it all, which is harder than high school. And if you did it all in high school, like you probably won't be able to do the same in college, because it is more difficult, and you know, people are expecting more of you. Yeah, so I just say be careful about how many things you choose to do, but also schedule everything so you know like what you're going to be using your time for, I guess. Does that make sense? I don't know. And then so people also ask me like, how do I know if my resume is good enough for like the Ivy League, for Yale? And honestly, I don't know how to answer that question, because Ivy League admissions officers are looking for something different for their school every year, and I believe it just depends like what they're looking for, and if they're looking for someone that fits your resume. Because like if you have like good grades, good scores, and you're involved in like doing different things, you're not just sitting around the house all the time, but you're like passionate about something and you're following that passion, then you have a good chance. But there's a lot of people who have good chances, so it kind of comes down to like, you know, things that they're looking for specifically, if that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, so it's kind of hard to know if your resume is good enough, but if you're confident in your scores, and you're following your passion, like you're making use of your time, then your resume will stand against others. Yeah, then people ask me what are my stats. So I actually made a whole video about that. What are my stats? I kind of was a little vague. I think I'm gonna make a little follow-up to that video, but yeah, I made a video about that, so you can go check it out. I think my stats were definitely like on the lower side, so that just goes to show you that you don't have to have perfect scores to get into the Ivy League, because like they're not looking for everyone to be perfect, and they know that everyone has like different struggles that they have to deal with at home, and everyone's not from the same background and all of that. What is a good SAT score? I'd say for the Ivy League, maybe like 1400 or higher. I mean, 1400 is pretty low out of the 1600 scale. Not pretty low, but it's like, yeah, it's on the lower end if you get 1400, and like, yeah, so I mean, try to get higher, but SATs aren't even required this year, so if you're really bad like at test taking and like you get stress and all of that, like you might not want to send them. But if you get a really good score, then by all means send it, because it will look good too. And APs, how many APs do you need? Well, you don't need, like if your school doesn't offer them, you don't need to take them, so don't worry about that. But if your school does offer them, and they offer a lot, and Yale or whatever Ivy League sees you're not taking them, then they'll be like, they're not pushing themselves basically. So they just want to see that you're taking the highest level you can possible, and doing well in them, and then yeah, because they're trying to see the success you've had in high school to see if that will follow up in college. Okay, and then so going on to like the application process kind of for colleges. I could go way more depth with all these questions if that's something you guys want to see, but so are the essays optional? Not for the Ivy League. So Yale has like supplemental essays, and all the other Ivies that I applied to had supplemental essays and the Common App. So if you're doing on the Common App, I think the other like Coalition and all of that like have a main essay too. So there's like a Common App essay that's like longer, and then each school can have supplemental essays that are not optional if you want to go to that school. And they're just smaller essays that you will, you know, answer. Some are as small as like 250 words. But yeah, through my whole college application process, I applied to 18 colleges, and I wrote about like 38 essays. And again, like some of those were the small ones, and some of them were like similar questions, so I was able to write similar things. But yeah, I mean, get prepared to write a lot if you want to apply to a lot of schools. So okay. So then the interview. How long are the interviews? What was it like? All that. I could go more into depth about all of my interview stories, but my Yale one was an on-campus one because I live so close. I was able to do that, so I signed up for it. But the bad thing was that it was super early in the year, like before I even sent in my application. It was like October or something. So it was my first interview, and I was really scared, but it wasn't with an alumni, it was with a senior, like, who worked at the missions office. So I kind of liked it more because it was like, I don't know, it was someone who's closer to my age, and yeah, and she was like going to school now, so I could ask her good questions. And I think that my interview definitely helped my application a lot, because I was able to just talk to her in like a calm way, and yeah, she said that she could like see me at Yale, in some of the clubs that they have. And yeah, I mean, it was about like an hour, I think that's how long most of them lasted. It was good, I think. Well, I mean, I go to Yale now, so like I guess it was good. Next question is, when did I start applying, or when should you start applying to colleges? I say if you are a senior in high school right now, you should have already started on your applications, should have already started writing your essays, looking at the Common App or whatever you're going to use to fill out the activities you do, your demographic information, all of that. Like, you should have already started that, because you know, you don't want to have to be bombarded with a bunch of stuff later. And yeah, you don't want to rush your application. You want to be able to do multiple drafts of your essay, multiple like have multiple people look at, you know, over your stuff. And yeah, so I would say start it as soon as you like have time, or make time. Like, start it over the summer before your senior year, and then just continue until you're ready to submit, and submit by the deadline, obviously. And so another big question I get is Yale like Gilmore Girls? And I actually made a bunch of like reaction things about like looking at Gilmore Girls and like seeing how Yale is like it and like not like it. And yeah, but I think that Gilmore Girls did a pretty good job, and I know that they talked to like some people at Yale to get some like advice on like how to, I don't know, structure the scene and all of that. And I definitely say there's some people that like resemble Rory at Yale. I feel like sometimes I might be one of them, you know, because I live in a small town in Connecticut that's close to Yale, and then I like coffee and read a lot, and so I don't know. Yeah, so what's Yale's food like? It's so good. And what I love about Yale, I talked about that too, but it's definitely like high-key eat better there than I do at home, so take that as you will. But I think their food is so good. It's fresh. It's like such a variety. If you want to be like vegetarian, like you can, and like have a variety still. And yes, so someone also asked me like, how do you feel about the like discrimination thing? How like the Justice Department, I think, ruled that Yale was discriminating against white and Asian applicants. And let me just tell you, there's like a whole, I can go into this a lot, but okay, let me just say, the way that Yale handles the applications of the white and Asian students with the Black and Latinx and Native and other students in mind is good in my opinion, because we need, I'm pretty sure it's affirmative action, but we need that so it's fair for, fair opportunities for all types of students of different backgrounds, and who may have not had like same access as their peers. There are just so much more white and Asian students applying, and that is showed at Yale. Like, there's a lot of white and Asian students on campus already. They do like make up the majority of students, so it's not like discriminate. It's not like they're not accepting white and Asian students. Like, it's trying to provide fair opportunities for everyone. But okay, so now on to questions about me. So what am I studying? I am studying political science, and I'm hoping to double major with Spanish. I was thinking religious studies before, but I do want to focus on becoming fluent in Spanish. Okay, another question, am I legacy? No, I am not legacy. Neither of my parents went to university, so I am first gen in the college sphere, and I made a video about being first gen low income, so look at that. Definitely not legacy. There are like quite a few legacies at Yale, of course, and I know a few, but people don't really go around being like saying it. I don't know. Okay, so do I feel imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome, yes, is such a huge thing at Yale. Like, so many people feel imposter syndrome because, I don't know, like, you see like Yale's acceptance rate is so low, and you're like, I don't belong here, like, why did they pick me? And like, am I really good enough? And you see like all of these other people are like Olympic athletes, or like, I don't know, they worked with the UN or something, and you're like, wow, I am not good enough. But you definitely see that like you were chosen and you're at this school for a reason. So that's something that I've come to, accept, that I'm here for a reason. I definitely don't think that there's a good enough, but it's just, imposter syndrome happens to most people, I think, and it's just something you have to deal with. Why did I want to go to an Ivy League school? I want to go to the Ivy League school because of the opportunity it presents to like have connections to people in my work and my career field, or just in general, for like if I want to travel somewhere. My Spanish professor like goes to Ecuador a lot, so she can tell me for a program, so she can like tell me like where to stay and like all that stuff, and like stuff that I wouldn't normally do. And also like the Ivy League has very good financial aid for low income students, so I knew I didn't want to be in debt. And I also have a outside scholarship, but like if I didn't, I don't think I would have been in any real debt coming to Yale, because of how well they treat their low income students. Advice for high schoolers. I have a lot of advice. I can make a whole video about it, but to have a goal in mind, no matter how vague, and just work towards that goal. Through perseverance, resilience, you can definitely get to that goal. Make sure you're starting early with anything. I kind of had the desire to be an Ivy League student since 8th grade, so it definitely helped me find good support, whether it's teachers, online, wherever. I would spend hours researching online. That's just some advice. Just start early, start studying early, just be on top of things. So am I reluctant to tell people that I go to Yale? I definitely say sometimes yes, I am, especially if it's like girls my age or guys my age who I know don't go to Yale, because I don't know, I just feel like they're gonna think some way about me. It's a stereotype, like, oh, she's gonna be like super smart, judgy, what is it? She's gonna be snotty, she's gonna be like a little snot, she's gonna be snooty, and all of that stuff. And I'm like, no, like, I'm fun, I'm funny, trust me. A little quirky. So when I tell people I go to Yale who are like my age, they're like, oh, you go to Yale. Okay, and so do I like the dorms? What is my favorite thing about the dorms? I had a small dorm my first semester, my first year, so it was okay. I do like being on campus. I love that so much because I'm just near everything and I can go to the dining hall, to the gym, to wherever, and it's just so close, and I love being in community with other people. But I definitely did not like my small dorm freshman year, and now I'm not even on campus and I'm not going back until the spring. How do I study? I can go into this so much. I study weird ways. I study different for every class. I take notes on my iPad a lot, but recently, since everything's been online, I've been like using paper, so I'm not straining my eyes that much. But yeah, I can go into that. I basically write notes, rewrite them, all that, use all of color-coded things. And one of y'all asked me, y'all know I'm Christian, is it harder or easier to pursue God in college? I definitely say, for me specifically, I think it's easier. For other people it might be harder, but I think it's easier because especially in the beginning of the year, like you're alone with your thoughts, you're alone in your room, and you have time to think for what's really important to you, and for me that's God and my relationship with God. So it was definitely easier for me to pursue God in college. Also, there's a great Christian community I found in college, and a great church right next to Yale that I love so much. And yeah, it's definitely hard an adjustment that I Bible study every morning, because it's not something I was doing in high school, but I love waking up early and I just love that time with God every morning. So I mean, I wouldn't want it any different. So yeah. How do I feel about my subscribers on YouTube? I am so glad everyone subscribed, and honestly, I didn't think I would get to like 4,000 subscribers, even though that's still like a small channel. I really want to reach more people, and yeah, just like be in community with you all. So I definitely would love to have more subscribers. Yeah, I mean, this channel has been super fun. I edit with Premiere Pro as of now. Okay, last 2 questions. Do I know a foreign language? Yes, I do. Spanish. Not fluent yet, but I will be soon, hopefully. And lastly, what YouTube channels do I like watching? I actually have my favorite channels tagged on my channel, like on the channel tab. I don't know. Yeah, those are all the questions, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will be back soon on Friday with another video. Okay, bye.